Good afternoon, everyone. Happy
Good afternoon, sir.
Janmashtami. Good afternoon. Happy Janmashtami. I had told you to do something, right? Yeah, what was that? I have forgotten. But if
Coal
you,
says.
Sir, says imposed on coal production.
right, yes. So, yes, tell me, how much of cess is being imposed on the coal production, and since which year? Yes.
Sir, NECF, which was National Clean Energy Fund, it was established earlier on. And then it initially started with 50 rupees per ton, then it went to 100 rupees per ton. And after then, currently it's now 400 rupees per ton. And there was also some, I think, sir, controversy that I was reading that the funds are not utilized properly. Out of, I think, 86,440 crore, only 29 crore was utilized and was sent out, and out of that only 11 crore was utilized. And then the GST came in, and now I think so it's almost equivalent to 1 lakh crore they have, but they've utilized it on like other departments due to the COVID situation.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Yes.
think one more thing I want to add that I also read that the most of the coal that is found in India is very low quality, so it cannot be used for other commercial purposes. It is just used for energy production.
Yes. And also even for energy production also, it is not the best coal that is available. And India imports quite a lot of coal from Australia.
Yes.
And you know that our electricity, probably more than 70% of electricity comes from thermal power. And it is almost difficult to or impossible to add the capacity of hydel power, because you cannot have more dams, and then so it's very difficult to increase the hydropower production in India. And the only way we can now increase electricity production is by adding the solar energy production. And people are now doing that, but it has also its own problems, like how to save the energy, because the solar energy can be produced only during daytime. But what about storing the electricity for night? Okay, that is one challenge. And then the least expensive source of energy could be nuclear power. And but then we have a lot of safety concerns for nuclear power. Although some people say that the concern that we show for nuclear energy is not appropriate, because if we say that there will be nuclear hazard and all that, but then if you look at the international disasters relating to the nuclear energy, it is very less. Okay? And as of now, there are only 2 incidents. One is the Chernobyl incident, other is Fukushima, right? That earthquake happened. And so those tragedies also, people say that it has not caused any direct death of humans due to nuclear disasters. See, the Fukushima tragedy is all about the tsunami, okay, and the earthquake. So it is not directly a nuclear disaster. That was only one incident we can say, Chernobyl, and that is long ago. Okay, I think that happened in late 80s or early 90s. And in 21st century, probably we can say that there are zero disasters for nuclear energy. And that is why some people say that in fact, okay, in India we should adopt nuclear energy, but a lot of consensus are being shown. But the indirect cost of other energy sources like coal, if you analyze, in coal production, we cause a lot of environmental disaster. Like we have to clear the forest. Then in coal production, we emit a lot of carbon dioxide, and that causes a lot of health hazards. Similarly, even in the production process also, some people get affected, sometimes people die. And similarly, the damage of the ash ponds. When you burn so much of coal, the ash that you generate, managing that ash itself is a big challenge. And many times we hear the stories of disasters in the ash pond. Wherever you store all those ash, that gets it also, you have to use a lot of water, and then so the entire environment gets affected. But in India, unfortunately, we have not been able to increase our nuclear energy production, although we have produced nuclear bombs. But how to use this for energy production, that is still a challenge. And now that India is planning to phase out the coal production, the electricity production from coal, then what could be the alternative? We can see two alternatives. One is the nuclear energy sources, and other is the solar power or wind power, okay, or the tidal and all these things. But so we have to also do a lot of research. And even solar energy also, there are a lot of other challenges, like India is not self-sufficient in producing the solar panels. We are importing a lot of solar panels from China. In fact, China is probably the biggest producer of solar panels. It exports to the world. And then it is also not that clean that we think of, okay? Because solar panels also have limited longevity, and the materials that we use for the production of the solar panels also cause a lot of environmental problems. So whenever we think about any new source of energy production, it is not that green that we think. Okay, so we need in fact more research in this field. Okay, so DI has been also asking us, basically NISER, to do more research in this field, okay, and come up with the cost benefit analysis. Similarly, the social perception on energy. We usually think that something is good or something is bad, and so these perceptions might be having basically unfounded. We don't have sufficient evidences. So as researchers, we should give enough empirical evidence to create the right perception in the society. Okay, so today we are going to discuss some more causes of market failure. We had discussed about the market failure in our last lecture. We have discussed information asymmetry, lack of property right, indivisibility, okay, and then externality. All those things we have discussed. Today we are going to discuss some more things. Now let me share my PPT. Yes. So can we see the PPT now? Okay. So we have discussed the causes of market failure, information asymmetry, lack of property right, resource immobility, indivisibility of the resources, natural monopoly, and externality. Within externality, we have discussed positive and negative externality, and how the externality causes the market failure, or what are the social problems within externality. Today we are going to discuss public good, and how in case of public goods, market fails to provide the socially desirable level of output, okay, or the Pareto efficient output, or how it fails to ensure Pareto efficiency. That we are going to discuss today. So these things we have already discussed, the positive and negative externality. Now directly coming to the public goods. Now, can somebody define what is a public good? Khulana, can you tell me what is a public good?
Public good is a good provided by the public authority, that is government, which have which is non-excludable in nature and non-rivalry in nature.
Okay. Sasmita?
Sir, public good can be any good that may not be only provided by the government, but that what Kulana has said, that the characteristics of non public good is non-rivalry and non-excludable in nature. But the government part is, I think, not correct.
Yes. So whatever is provided or supplied by government is not necessarily a public good. Okay. So then what is a public good? Public good basically has two characteristics, that it is non-excludable and it is non-rival in nature. Okay. Government might be providing private goods also. So for example, government produces steel. Say in India, we have Steel Authority of India Limited. Okay, and steel is not a public good. Steel is a private good. Government might be producing cloth. For example, Odisha government used to have Odisha textile mills. In fact, most of the state governments had textile mills, okay, OTM. Now those have been shut down. Similarly, government produces gas. Gas is not necessarily a public good, but government provides many other goods such as defense. Those are public goods. Government provides us Doordarshan, that is a public good. Okay, or it provides all India radio services. Those are public goods. So whenever you think about all the goods, and I am referring to Amit and Ajitesh, we can simply divide all the goods into simply two categories and broadly four categories also. So one is that it is public good or it is private good. These are two extreme cases. But then in between also we have mixed kind of goods, we can say. It is not fully public, it is not fully private. So those combinations are also there. But two extreme cases is that one is public good and other is private good. And so what is a public good? As I said, that it is basically non-excludable and non-rival in nature. Now let us explain what is that. Now we can take this characteristic that some good could be excludable and non-excludable, and other is that it is rival and non-rival. Now coming to the excludable and non-excludable characteristics, as I have said in the very beginning, that in economics we always think that there is a market for everything and there is a price. And if there is no price, then all the problems arise. Now in case of excludability characteristics, whenever we say that, think about the consumer who pays for getting the commodity. Now if you pay for it, then only you can consume. Now the people who do not pay for it will not be able to consume that. So that means somebody is excludable easily. If you do not want to pay a price, then you are excluded. But if you pay the price, then only you are included. So some tool is there to exclude the consumption of one particular goods or services to some section of the society. That is excludable characteristics of a good. Okay? So with some mechanism, you can exclude some people from its consumption. But there are certain goods on which you cannot use any tool to exclude other people to consume this. So consumption cannot be prohibited to anybody. That is non-excludable characteristics. So for example, national defense. Now in case of national defense, what happens? People who pay tax, they are protected by the national defense, and even if you are not paying tax, you are also protected. Okay? So even if somebody is not paying for it, he is getting the benefits. Okay? That is non-excludable. So you cannot use anything, any characteristics. Say defense minister cannot say that no, somebody, okay, you are a poor person, you are not paying tax. So if our neighboring country would invade us, we'll allow them to attack you. because you have not paid tax. It cannot happen. Okay, because you are a citizen of this country, and our nation is a sovereign nation. The nation has the right to protect. Nation has the duty to protect it. Okay, so even if you have paid for it or not, you are protected. Similarly, you can think about Doordarshan, okay, and All India Radio, that even if you do not pay for the signal of All India Radio or Doordarshan, if you just have a radio, and just open an antenna, then you can access the services directly. You are not paying anything for the signals. Okay. Similarly, no, you can think about the street light. Okay, and these are local public goods, of course, but street light is also a public good. That you might have heard many stories that like how somebody studied and sitting under the street light, and how somebody became a big person. Those kind of stories we have heard. Okay, so that person who studied under the street light might not have paid because that person doesn't have the resource, okay, to pay for it, but then that person has benefited from it. Okay, so that is non-excludable characteristics of a good. Is that clear, Amit and Ajitesh? What is excludable characteristics and what is non-excludable characteristics? Then comes rival and non-rival characteristics. Now coming to the rival characteristics, now suppose a particular commodity is available in a finite quantity. So for example, Rasgulla. Okay, Rasgulla is available, say 100 kg in the market. Say sub X has some quantity, another sub has Y quantity, like that. Okay, so in the market, say 100 kg of Rasgulla is available. Now, if one person is buying, say 10 kg, then in market only 90 kg is available, because somebody has already taken 10 kg. So only 90 kg is available. So that is rival in nature. If some person consumes a particular quantity, then this quantity is not available for others' consumption. That is rival in nature. But when it comes to the non-rival, that if a person consumes X quantity, then the other person also consumes same quantity. Okay, that means suppose 100 units are available, and then person 1 is consuming, say 10 units, then other person can also enjoy 10 units, or even more, even full 100 units can be enjoyed. Again, you can take the example of national defense. We don't enjoy national defense in a piecemeal, part by part. We enjoy the full national defense, right? Because we are protected from all sides of the country. Okay? And it's not that only we are protected from, say, northern side, or we are protected only from southern side because you are staying in South India, or you are protected from North India because, and that's why you are protected only from the northern frontier. No, you are protected from every side. Okay? And so the consumption of national defense is in full quantity. Okay? It's not like the Rasgulla that you have consumed. Similarly, street light. No, if you are enjoying the street light, then you are all enjoying equally. You don't divide that, okay, Mr. X enjoys some quantity of street light, other person enjoys half of that. No, it's not that. So it's not rivalry. But yes, one conflict may arise that in case of local public goods, you may face the problem of congestion. Now, if all the people go to study under the street light, then probably it will be a problem. It will be crowded. So that crowding problem may arise, but then consumption doesn't differ. Consumption remains same. Okay. Similarly, defense, even if population increases, there could be some issues, but then the consumption quantity remains same. So here, I have not yet given the example of environmental goods and services, but you can think of the pure public goods, which are environmental, which are basically environmental goods and services. I told you the example of national defense. Similarly, we can also take the example of environmental goods and services, which are purely public goods. And in case of environmental public goods, we can define them as global public goods, national public goods, and the regional public goods and local public goods. And for example, when you talk about the ozone layer, then the ozone layer is a global public good. Even for that reason, the atmosphere, all the oceans, these are all global public goods. Now, if one ocean gets polluted, then others can be impacted. Similarly, now we can say the Antarctica, okay? Or similarly, even the Amazon forest, because it is full of rich biodiversity, and those biodiversity are not available elsewhere. That is why even if it is available in only one part of the world, it is a global public good. Okay? So we all need to preserve that. Similarly, in India, actually, we can say that in certain regions, some endemic species are available, and that can become a global public good. You cannot say that no, that is available only in that part of the country, that is why it's a local public good. No, since it is unique and this belongs to the entire humanity, so it is a global public good. Now, any damage to ozone layer can cause a lot of health hazards to all the people in the world. That is a ozone layer could be a global public good. Similarly, we can come to the state level. Now, or you can say the national public good. So, for example, Himalaya. Of course, Himalaya could be again a global public good because it has far consequences in the entire South Asian region and so also the global community. But we can think about the rivers. Say we can think about say Narmada, which basically goes through many states. We can think about Kaveri. We can think about Mahanadi. All these rivers go through so many states. Or we can think about Ganga. And so these are all national public goods. Okay? And if you pollute Ganga, then it affects many other states. And the benefits of these public goods are equally enjoyed by everyone. And in case of environmental public goods, mostly we think in negative terms. Okay, but because if ozone layer is damaged, then all are negatively impacted. But for that reason, if ozone layer is protected, we get equally all the benefits. Okay, so we can think about public goods which are non-excludable and non-rival in nature. Think about all the examples that I gave, environmental examples. Now, these are benefiting equally, and one person's consumption is not going to reduce the consumption of the other person. So that is why these are called public goods. Now, there is another extreme called private goods. Now, what is a private good? Private good is basically has the characteristics of excludability and rival in nature. That means if you do not pay for it, you do not get. And if a person consumes some quantity, then this quantity is not available. The best example that I have given is Rasgulla. Okay, that if you pay for it, you eat. And if somebody else has consumed 10 units, then for you only 90 units are available. And if you are a foodie who loves Rasgulla, then only, even if you want 100 units of Rasgulla, you can eat only 90 units because somebody else has already taken 10 units. Okay, so similarly, the breads, cars, computers, the examples I have written, would be called as private goods. So these are two extremes. Okay, but there are two other options available for us, that it could be non-excludable, but it is rival in nature. Now, what is non-excludable? The example is village forest. Okay, and you see that in a village forest, what happens? We think that okay, this belongs to everyone, so you cannot prohibit anyone to enter into the forest. But if someone enters into the forest and he or she cuts down the best tree available in the forest, thinking that no, I want to use this timber, then this timber is not available for others. So that's why it is rival in nature. Similarly, think about the village pond. I mean, a village pond, suppose somebody goes early in the morning and catches the fish available. Okay? And of course, you cannot finish all the fishes, but then you could catch some amount of fishes because it is free. It has free access for all. So then the fish, suppose the best or the biggest fish, you can catch through a big net early in the morning because it is non-excludable. But if you have caught say 10 kg of fishes, then these fishes are not available for others. So that's why it is non-excludable and it is rival. So these commodities are called as common pool goods or common property resources. So that includes the example of the village forest, the river, the grazing land, where you don't really stop anyone, we don't prohibit anyone. But then if somebody extracts some amount of resource or consumes some amount of resource, then this is not available for the other. So it has rivalry in nature. Then we have another good called club good. What is a club good? It is excludable in nature, but it is non-rival in nature. In fact, it is sometimes we can also take the example of a merit good. What is it? Yeah, I have already written that merit good or club good. Now, let me give the example. Now, when you think about a club good, let me, you must be aware that in cities, we have different clubs. So for example, in Bhubaneswar, we have a Bhubaneswar club. And it is the club of all the rich people of Odisha. And mostly the members are all bureaucrats and politicians and businessmen, because to be a member of Bhubaneswar club, you have to pay something like, I don't know exactly the amount, maybe some 3-4 lakh rupees as membership fee. Okay. Then only you can become a member. So it is excludable. If you do not pay 5 lakh, or if you do not have the ability to pay 5 lakh to be a member, then you cannot become member. So it is clearly excludable. But if you become a member of that club, then you all enjoy all the services or the facilities available in that club. So for example, on the Bhubaneswar club, people always celebrate New Year, and that is shown in television channels of Odisha. And they always invite some Bollywood actors, and they all enjoy the dance of Bollywood actor equally, okay? Because you are a member of that club. So that is the example of a club good, and that is excludable, but it is non-rival in nature. Similarly, education is also known, and if you take the example of merit good, either you call this as club good in certain context, in certain other context, you can say this is a merit good. Okay? Merit good has again some public goods characteristics, because again it has non-rival in nature. Say for example, Niger, okay, or even the lesson that I'm teaching to all of you is a merit good. How it is now? It is excludable and it is non-rival in nature. See, this year probably some 165 people had applied for the PhD program of Niger Humanities, School of Humanities and Social Sciences. Now, out of 165 people, we have selected how many? 7 or 6? No, we had selected 7, but 6 have joined. That means it is excludable that people who did not qualify in the interview could not make it into the humanities department. But once you are available in the department, like say you all have chosen this course, when I'm teaching this course, I'm teaching equally to all of you. Consumption is equal, it is non-rival. It's not that when I am teaching, Fulana is getting more lesson and Amit gets less lesson. No, it is equal. Whether you are listening to me or not, that is a different thing. You might be pretending that, okay, you are listening to me, but then I am teaching equally. Whether you listen or not doesn't matter to me, but I am teaching equally to all of you. So the consumption could be non-rival. Okay. Similarly, in a classroom also, suppose you think about a physical class. In fact, you can remember also the movie 3 Idiot. Viru Shastra Buddhi says, you all are like coil birds. You have kicked out other eggs, or you have broken all the eggs. So you all qualified. He shows that he drops all the applications, and he says that you have rejected all these applicants, and you have entered into this. But once you are into the institution, you all enjoy the benefits equally. So this is a merit good. So education is an example of merit good. But then in general, going beyond the classroom, you can think about the general education also. So for example, in India, now we have made Sarva Shiksha Abhijan or Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhijan. Now, in those abhiyans, what we have done, that people belonging to a specific age group will get free and compulsory education. So we have specified a criteria that if you belong to this age group, then you are eligible to get free education. So there is a excludability characteristics. Okay, but if you are within that group, then you have all equal access to free education and compulsory education. Similarly, coming to the vaccines. Now, for vaccines, what you have done? Usually you think that vaccines are all for all, but no, it is not. For say, for example, polio. Polio vaccine is available for a specific age group. Okay, but if you are in that age group, you get it for free. It's compulsory. Similarly, if you are not thinking about the COVID vaccines, now we have also fixed a age group. For example, when we started, we fixed the age group to people who are above 60 years age would get the vaccine. Now also, or people who are above 18 years age would get the vaccine. So we have set a limit. Of course, gradually it will become universal, but then most of the vaccines are for a specific group, and they are getting it for free. So that is either a club good or it is a merit good, and it has the characteristics of excludability. You are excluding people, setting a criteria, and then it is non-rival in nature. People who come in that group get equal consumption. So what does it mean now? So when we say public goods have the characteristics of non-excludability and non-rival in nature, but it doesn't mean that whatever government provides is a public good. But other way around, that usually the public goods should be provided by the government. For example, education and health would come under basically the merit good concept. And why we call this as a merit good? Because the good or the service makes a merit for the provision of the public good, for its provision by the government, because the commodity has a merit. Now, if you allow the people to get education, some people will not avail education because they do not know what is the merit of getting education. But society at a large will benefit if everyone gets education. So there is a merit behind the public provision of education. Similarly, vaccines. Now, if you leave the people on their own to get vaccinated, some people will get vaccinated who have money and willingness. Some people will not get, who do not have the resources. But if somebody does not get vaccine, then he or she can cause a threat to the others. So there is a merit behind the public provision of the vaccines, okay, so that everyone is safe. Okay, so that's why we call this as merit good. Health and education are the merit goods, and the government needs to provide. But it doesn't mean that whatever government provides is a public good. I gave the example of steel. If you pay for steel, you get it, and if you do not pay for it, you don't need. You will not get it. And it's not that steel consumption is essential for everyone. Without buying steel, you can live, and doesn't cause any problem to the society if no one consumes steel at all. Okay, so similarly, cloth production. You may say that wearing a cloth is essential. Okay. That way you can think, but then what kind of cloth government will produce? Not necessarily that kind of cloth is essential for everyone. Okay, so whatever is provided by the government is not necessarily a public good, but public goods should be provided by the government. Market, in fact, cannot do justice for the provision of public goods in the optimal quantity. Now, why we are discussing all these things? Why public goods we are discussing? And because when something has the characteristics of a public good, in that case, market will simply fail to provide that goods. Now think about national defense. Do you think that market can provide in optimal quantity the national defense? The answer would be no. It will provide, see, now you will see that many people are buying their own, security services. Now security services are also available in the market. So many agencies have come up. You can buy their services, protection. But those agencies are not going to protect everyone. That is why we need defense, national defense. So in case of environmental goods, since environment has a public good characteristics, market will fail to provide or protect the environment, because it has the non-excludability and non-rivality in nature. If you can convert them into, say, if the environmental goods and services will have the characteristics of excludability and rivalry, then market can correct all the things. Market can sell this, market can protect this. Okay, so that is why we are discussing. When I give the example of global public goods and national public goods, see, these are the examples like ozone layer and the ocean, and these are all global public goods. Similarly, we have national public goods, Chilka, and the local public goods. Sasmita can probably tell the image of a pond that I have put here. Can you recognize the pond? No. This is Bindu Sagar. Okay. This is the image of Bindu Sagar. So Bindu Sagar is again is a pond of Bhubaneswar, which has again some say religious link, we can say. And now it is in front of a temple of Bhubaneswar, but this is the largest pond of Bhubaneswar, okay, and it can help in groundwater recharge, and it can generate a lot of positive externalities. Okay, so this could be local public good for the people living in Bhubaneswar. Okay, of course, once you link it to the religious identity, then you can say that no, it could be it could have the religious sentiment of so many Hindus, okay, living in Odisha. So that way, it is a state public good. Okay, but at least you can say that this is a local public good. Chilka, since is again, of course, it could be a global public good also, because this comes under the Ramsar sites list. And then ozone layer is a global public good. So in case of all these environmental goods, you see that these are all non-rivalry in nature, the benefits, and these are also non-excludable in nature. You cannot prohibit anyone to enter into Bindu Sagar or Chilka or getting the benefits of ozone layer, or going and chilling on the sea beach. So unless you privatize the sea beaches. Now privatization of sea beach is also happening. That is not a fair thing. So some people also protest. But by and large, you can say that these goods, the environmental goods and services have the public good characteristics, although we can define them differently as global, national, or local public goods. So what is the problem in case of a public good? Okay. In case of a public good, we fail to arrive at the demand curve or the supply curve. Okay. And why you fail to arrive at aggregate demand curve for the public good? Say, for example, okay, why actually I am talking about again demand and the supply things? Because if people will reveal the preferences for the consumption of a particular goods, then market can charge a price. Now, if suppose somebody will get to know that you all are willing to pay 1,000 rupees every day for inhaling the amount of oxygen that you are using every day, then government can charge that, okay, you have the willingness to pay for oxygen of over 1,000 rupees every day, and those oxygen are basically generated by trees. So government can charge you 1,000 rupees because you have clearly revealed your preferences. But usually you will not do that, okay? Because if you start revealing the preferences, then you may pay for it, but the people who do not reveal will not pay for it. Okay, so you will have all the incentives not to reveal your preferences. That is one. Similarly, no, if you can reveal this, then market can also provide. The market will know that, okay, if I plant trees, people will give me money because they inhale oxygen. Okay, so then the problem is solved. Now there will be enough trees planted by the market, but that doesn't happen because nobody really reveals the preferences and no forgetting the benefits of the trees. Okay. Similarly, many people might have written beautiful poems looking at the blue sky and clean rivers. That Nil Nil Ambar par Chand Jab Aaye. Okay, so that song has been composed by somebody looking at the blue sky. But then if you ask the people of Delhi, they cannot write actually that kind of poem anymore because वहाँ क्या होता है, वहाँ the sky is gray. So how will you write the Nil Nil Ambar par Chand Jab Aaye? Now the person who has written that poem, now if you ask him, since you could compose this song, now you share a price, you share some of your benefit that you have got by composing that song by looking at the blue sky. Since you could see that blue sky, you could write a poem, right? Now you have to pay a price for it because the people of Delhi cannot see a blue sky. So you have the privilege of seeing a blue sky, so you should pay for it. Now if all, and suppose that person who have composed this song, since he has got some money, he can agree, okay, I am ready to pay, okay, I have got say 1 crore for composing that song and I can pay 1 lakh rupees. So one person may reveal, but other people will not pay for it. People living in the village would say, oh, blue sky is my fundamental right. Nature has given it for free. So why should I pay for it? Even if somebody has written a song looking at that sky, let him pay, but I will not pay. So then the person who is now writing the song, composing the song, now will also say, no, I will also not pay. If other person is not paying, then I will also not pay. Okay, so you can think about all environmental goods and services that wherever you can reveal your preferences, or if somebody else can know your willingness to pay, then market can solve the problem. So market can even protect the blue sky, okay, because people are willing to pay for it. So then market will generate enough resources to preserve that blue sky. So for example, people in Delhi now would say, if clearly reveal the preference for a blue sky, then what will happen? Government can basically impose a tax, or market can also collect so much of money from the people, and they will take corrective measures for ensuring a blue sky to everyone living in Delhi. But I don't think that Ajitesh will do that. Ajitesh, are you revealing your preference for observing a blue sky every day?
No, sir.
The answer is definitely no. You are happy with the gray sky. Okay. Even if that affects your health, you will never reveal your preference. That's a market cannot really ensure a blue sky anywhere. So you can generalize this problem for all kind of environmental goods and services. You do not pay, you do not reveal it. See, all the goods and services are available in the market because you are revealing your preferences. For example, market people know that to eat one rasgulla, you are willing to pay 10 rupees. That's a bigger rasgulla is available at 10 rupees. The market also knows that people who do not have sufficient income will demand a 3 rupees rasgulla. So they are supplying a small rasgulla at 3 rupees. Market knows it very clearly. Okay, so market knows the shape of the demand curve, and accordingly it provides or supplies different goods and services. But for environmental goods and services, market does not have any information about the preferences of you, although every one of us consume that, but we do not reveal. And there is an incentive for all of us not to reveal our preference. Now, I have put this problem here in a game theoretical framework. Now look at the incentive. Now, I have given the example of a village tap, okay, or a tap in the street in the town. Now, take the case of a tap which is broken, and if you try to fix it up, then you need say 100 rupees. Buying a tap would cost only 100 rupees. And by doing that, you can fix the problem and everyone will get the benefit. Okay. So let us put this example with some numerical examples. Now suppose that is a public good, that is public tap. Now if you pay for it, suppose you are contributing 5 rupees, okay, and suppose 20 people are getting the benefit of that tap, and everyone contributes 5 rupees, then what happens? You paid 5 rupees and others paid 5 rupees, everyone. So you could collect 100 rupees and you could fix the broken tap. Then how much benefit you are enjoying? So the benefit of the public tap is say 100 rupees, okay, because the price is 100 rupees. So the benefit that everyone will enjoy is, say, let us monetize as 100 rupees. Since you have contributed 5 rupees, that is a cost on you. So the net benefit that you are enjoying is 100 minus 5. So from a public tap worth 100 rupees, the net benefit that you are getting is 95 rupees. Right? Now look at the other options. Now, if others pay and you do not pay, and somehow the tap is now repaired, then what happens? Then the benefit is 100 rupees and you have not paid anything, your cost is 0. So you will get 100 rupees benefit, isn't it? So you will think that, okay, there will be some benevolent person who would pay 10 rupees, even though 20 people are there. Someone is benevolent, somebody has more ability to pay, so somebody will contribute extra amount, little more. So let them pay, and you don't want to pay, so your cost is 0 and your benefit is higher, 100 rupees. If you pay and others pay, then your benefit is only 90 rupees. So you have always an incentive not to pay and get the benefits. Now go to the other option, that others did not pay, but you have paid. Then what happens? If others did not contribute, you have contributed only 5 rupees, then tap cannot be fixed. The tap remains broken. Rather, you suffer a loss because you have already contributed 5 rupees. So that is a deadweight loss for you. 5 rupees is negative. So it is a deadweight loss on you because the tap could not be repaired. Now, what is the best option available for you? Okay, and the other option is that if you do not pay and others do not pay, then tap also is not repaired at all. Tap cannot be repaired because money could not be generated. You do not pay and others do not pay, so it remains, the water flows. So the situation always prevails that in society is the last one, that you do not pay and others do not pay, because everyone thought the second option, that others will pay, you will not pay, and you will get the maximum benefits, 100 rupees. So there is always an incentive for this. That is why, and why actually how we are relating it to the public good, that if you, and I told you that if you reveal your preferences, then problem can be solved. Why I am saying is that suppose a municipality will somehow get the information that all the 20 households are getting benefit. Now, there are 2 rich people living in that locality who have the willingness to pay 50 rupees each. Okay, then 2 households can pay 50 rupees each, and then 100 rupees is collected, and that's a tap can be repaired. But these 2 people will always believe that, no, why should we pay? There are other people who are equally richer than or equally rich like us, and they don't reveal the preference to pay for it. So why should we pay? And you will always think like that, okay, others will pay and you will not pay, and you will get 100 rupees benefit. So there is a competition in the society not to reveal your preferences, and that's ultimately public tap is never broken. Similarly, think about the garbage that we throw. Now suppose you are trying to segregate the waste at source at your home, so that suppose you have some civic sense and you are environmentally a conscious person. So if you feel that, no, by segregating this I can contribute to a larger public good, and my city will remain clean. But now you think that others do not segregate. So even if you segregate, you have bought say 4 dustbins to segregate your waste. You are taking a lot of effort. You have given enough training to your family members that this is how you have to segregate. You have to bring a behavioral change. So you have taken enough pain to segregate the waste. But ultimately, when you went to the dustbin kept by the municipality, you see that there is a single dustbin, And so you have to put all the segregated waste in the single dustbin. That means, so you will also have the incentive not to segregate the waste, okay, because others are not doing it. So that's how the problem remains unsolved. And so that is the problem with the environmental goods and service. Okay, that similarly protecting a forest. Now, if you feel that, okay, you think that, okay, I will only cut one tree, others will not cut. So the forest will remain protected. Everyone thinks like that, okay, I will cut only just one tree and others will not cut. So that all 99 trees, suppose there are 100 trees available. Now, even if I cut one tree, only 90 trees, only one tree will be damaged. So 99 trees will be there and no one can recognize, because I have cut the last tree available in the forest. No one can see this. Everyone thinks like that. In fact, there is a story, okay, in fact, this problem is called as free riding, that you do not want to contribute to the cost for the supply of the good, but you want to benefit freely. Okay, that is called free riding problem. And there's a popular story, on free riding, which you might have heard from your grandparents. The story of a king trying to make a pond of milk. Let me quickly give that example and finish today's lecture. Now, once a king basically wanted to test the people of the people of his or her kingdom, and so how truthful the citizens of or the subjects of that kingdom are. So one day the king announced that the king told that I want to make a pond full of milk, so that just like people drink water from the pond, imagine that there is no pollution, people can drink water from a pond. Similarly, people can go to that pond and drink the milk. And imagine during king's time there were no public taps. Yeah, so obviously people used to drink water from the oil or the pond. So king announced this, the nice vision that a king wants to have a milk pond, and then king basically dug a pond using the subjects of the kingdom. And then one auspicious time was found, that on a new moon night, midnight, everyone, that is auspicious time, so everyone will go to that pond and pour some amount of milk, whatever is possible on his or her behalf. Okay, so it was announced in the kingdom that on full moon, on the new moon night, midnight, everyone will go and pour the milk in that pond. So people did that also. King announced, and people went and poured whatever they could. And so in the morning, early morning, then the king went to see the pond. So king was expecting, obviously I will have a pond full of milk. But then early morning, he saw there was only water. No milk was available in the pond. Why? Because everyone thought that, okay, all others in the kingdom will come with milk, and I will only pour the water. So then king cannot recognize whether I have poured water or the milk. And the result was that there is only water, because everyone thought that others will come with milk. I am only going with water. So the result was a pond full of water. There is no milk at all. So king could realize how truthful his subjects were. But that is a very good example of the free riding, that everyone wants to take the credit. Okay, see, suppose others should have come with milk, or at least 50% people had come with milk, then probably king would have said that, okay, my people are very truthful. So although little bit, it's not very good milk, but still there is milk in the pond. But then everyone thought that, okay, all others will come with milk, only I am going with water. So that's a very good example of the free riding. Okay? And that is why we see that be it a public good or an environmental good, we say that these are never protected, because we always think that if by not contributing anything, we will get the maximum benefit. The numerical example that I have given. Okay, by not contributing anything for the provision of the good, I will get the maximum benefit. So there is always an incentive not to contribute anything. Okay, and yeah, so this is the problem of the free riding, and in the public good, the market provision is simply not possible. Okay, so with this today we'll stop, and in the next class we'll discuss the solutions. Now we have discussed so many problems that causes of market failure. We have discussed all these things: information asymmetry, lack of property right, resource immobility, indivisibility, natural monopoly, externality, and public goods can cause market failure. Now, if these are the problems, now how do we solve, or how do economists think to solve this problem? See, there could be many other solutions, but we are discussing the framework of the economists. Okay? Like, how do we analyze the problem? And there could be no analysis from other disciplines also, but this is how we in the economics discipline analyze. So we'll also get the solutions accordingly. For each problem, how do we fix the problem? So let me stop here. If you have any question, you can ask.